Hey there, Soul Shift. So this is the guided meditation that I had intended to include as part of our first class. But in a way, I actually like that you're going to get it separately. It gives you an extra little bit of content and something fun to work on in between our classes. So this is called the Prima Materia meditation. The Prima Materia is that sort of dark well of energy. It's that place we begin, right? It's the abyss from which all creation emerges. And this exercise is designed to introduce you to what it feels like to sort of swim in that prima materia. Prima materia, remember, means first matter in Latin. And so this is where everything in alchemy begins. And what I love about alchemy is that we really do begin at the beginning, right? This class is going to meet you where you are and then take you from this exact moment of your development and your progress and sort of lead you, guide you toward where you'll be later in the year. So I want you to relax and enjoy. I had thought we would do this standing up, but I know we have some people who are limited in their mobility. And I also just think it's also, I did it earlier myself sitting down and I had a great experience. So you can do this sitting down or standing up if you prefer. I prefer that than to have you lay down because I really want you to be able to use your body as a source of divination here and feel the pull into the elements. The purpose of this meditation is really to bring these elements to life for you. So enjoy. So let's relax. Let's roll our shoulders back. Take a nice deep calming breath. Come fully into present time. And if you're seated, notice your hips on the floor, making nice contact with the root chakra, just feeling fully present in this moment and connected to your body. And since this is just a meditation, I'm not going to open a circle. We're not really calling in energy as much as we're sensing energy that's already in the field. So this is something you can do anytime, anywhere if you're feeling stressed. It's helpful if you're not feeling grounded to do this meditation. It's helpful if you're feeling overwhelmed or anxious. So this becomes sort of a portable exercise that you can do anytime, anywhere if you want to really be connecting with those elements and the energies. So I first want you to, again, bring your awareness and your focus to your body and your breath. And I want you to first lean forward. One of the things that happens when we lean forward in our bodies is within the chakra system, the front edge of the chakra system, the forward leaning energy of the chakra system brings you into contact with your emotions, your feelings, and your reactions. When you lean back into your chakra system, you leave the realm of the emotions and you really lean more deeply into what we call the power center, really into your sushumna or central channel. So tonight as we lean forward and we lean backward, I want you to notice how when you come forward, you feel more connected to feelings, reactions. It's also kind of the posture that we go into when we're stressed and tense, right? Because it's more of a reactive place. When you lean back, it's almost like you're being held by the universe, right? You're leaning back into the arms of love or into the arms of source. And then I want you to notice when we lean side to side, right? Each side has its own energy field too. So when we lean to the right, we're activating the left hemisphere of the brain. This is the masculine. Okay, so forward is emotions, and you can play with me for a minute. Backward is into the source, right? Into the channel. So you're really plugging into your own personal power center. Leaning right connects you in with masculine energy. Leaning left activates the right hemisphere of the brain, brings you into connection with the divine feminine energy within you. So even in just before we even engage the meditation or start to work with the elements, I want you to notice how if you're stressed and you find yourself leaning forward, automatically lean back. You're going to shift the entire energy. If you're feeling too masculine, lean left and back. And you will feel automatically sort of held and comforted. And if you need to focus more, lean forward and right. That's going to be your focus, masculine, reactive emotion position. So learn to use your body as your own form of a magical tool. Okay. And now I want you to imagine that the floor beneath you, for me it's carpet here in my crystal room, But for the purposes of this exercise, we're going to imagine that all of a sudden this floor disappears. And in place of all of this beautiful carpet, we find ourselves sitting really deeply in the most beautiful flowing black river. And it's shallow. You don't have to worry about sinking into it. This is meeting you right where you are. Maybe it's about 4 to 6 inches deep. And I want you to feel yourself sort of allowing yourself to relax down into, soften down into, releasing down into this beautiful dark river of energy. And I want you to imagine and feel that the breath and the expanse of this river goes as far as your eyes can see. It's as far ahead of you, as far behind you, as far to each side as you can imagine, sense, and feel. And take a nice deep breath there. And imagine even the texture of the water. Imagine that it's warm and very soothing to the touch. And imagine that you can feel, maybe there's a little ripple in the water, that the water is sort of moving gently as it flows towards you and away from you. And that you can feel how the water is soothing to you. It's almost like sitting in the most beautiful warm bathtub. Except this water, of course, is also the water of creation, of possibility. The expanse of this water that's holding you is the source of creation across our entire planet, across our cosmos. You can almost think of it as a source of the universe's own amniotic fluid, that you're being bathed and sort of grown in this beautiful fluid of all creation. And in this water, there's nothing to do, nothing to fix or change. There's nothing to shift or become. There's nothing to anticipate, and there's nothing to surrender to or leave behind. There's nothing to worry about, nothing to look forward to. Everything just simply is in this space of this big, beautiful river of all creation. And you can imagine going into this water and almost feeling like you're going back to the very beginnings of your own creation, the moment when you were conceived in this lifetime. And maybe even before that, maybe you're even going back a little bit further than that to some of your earliest past life memories that you can recall. And maybe it's even taking you further back before that, to the moment when you first made your appearance in this galaxy. The first time you ever took a human breath. And maybe even before that, when you were simply an amalgam of stardust. Right? When you first even became a form of any kind coming into this cosmos, maybe this moment will take you back into your earliest essence. And that's really the focus of these first days and weeks and months of our alchemical work this year, is to really take you back to those initial moments, those first foundations, the source and the essence of who you truly are, and not just in this lifetime, but across all lifetimes that you've ever experienced before. And take a moment to enjoy what that means, that you can just fully be here. There's nothing about anything when you're in this space that has to be transformed. This is simply an exercise in acknowledging, in being, in resting. And the energies that are here are supportive of you. And in fact, like I said, this is something of an amniotic fluid. The energies that are here were present when you first emerged. So feel the connection, the resonance with all of that primal energy that's around you right now. And a nice deep breath there. And now before you, in front of you, you're going to begin to connect with the element of earth. And to the right of you, you're going to begin to connect with the element of air. Behind you, you're going to begin to connect with the element of fire. And to your left, you're going to begin to connect with the element of water. You're going to allow this river now to begin pulsing with the energies of the pure elements. And as you begin to sense that these elemental energies are around you, earth to your north in front of you, air to the east of you, fire to the south of you, water to the west of you, I want you to feel those waters of creation start to separate and start to come together in spheres of light now. So the water transforms from this beautiful black river that's surrounding you into these spheres of light. And you can see and almost sense the water coagulating and gathering into these spheres of energy. And so watch and feel as the waters recede and begin to transform into these spheres of light. And I want you to lean forward and notice that earth element energy in your field. And take a deep breath there. And now lean to the right and sense that air element energy. Right? Earth is more stabilizing. Air is flowing, right? It creates circulation, it creates spaciousness, it creates the ability to breathe easily, feeling your heart rate start to slow just a little bit. And as you lean back into fire, notice what that feels like. A little warmth gets developed there, starting to feel a connection with a little bit of intensity and energy. Maybe there's some desire building there when you lean back into fire. And then when you lean left into water, and you're going to see me, it's going to look the reverse because I'm facing the camera, so you need to orient yourself according to the directions where you are seated. But as you lean toward water, I want you to feel how that has its own energy, its own frequency, its own vibration. Here where water starts to gather, that energy of water, you might feel relaxation or nurturing. You might feel a little bit of emotional healing and reassurance here in the West with water. And so let's go around the wheel again one more time, leaning forward into earth, feeling that grounding, that stability, that patience, that presence, right? That support. And again, out to air, starting to feel the circulation, the clarity, a little bit of freedom energy there too. And as we lean back, leaning back into desire, into passion, maybe even into some playfulness, some curiosity in the south, those kinds of energies build here. And then again to west, feeling that nurturing, that flow, prosperity energies start to arise in the west too. That's all sitting here too. And now try making one fluid circle around. Again, feeling these, whether you see them as spheres or orbs of light or energy, how all of that Prima Materia has now coagulated in the form of the four elements around you. And you can even, if you're a visual person, you can even imagine reaching out and touching that sphere of energy in the north. Maybe it's a white sphere or a green sphere, which are traditionally the colors that we associate with the element of earth. You can imagine reaching out and touching the sphere of light in the east, a beautiful bright golden yellow orb of light. Leaning back and feeling that sphere of energy behind you in the south, a big burning sort of orange-red sphere of light and energy, and then feeling and maybe touching the blue or black orb of light that we would associate with the colors of water in the west. And now I want you to come back to sort of a straight seated position, not leaning in any particular direction. And now that you've oriented yourself to all of these elements, I want you to let your body become its own form of divination tool. And so without sensing or determining or guiding yourself to lean into any particular element, and it's good to close your eyes for this step, I want you to ask your spirit guides, higher self, angels and archangels, ascended masters, spirit teachers, ancestors who wish to be here with us to help us in this moment. And simply allow yourself to be guided through your body somatically about where you need to move elementally right now in your life. What element needs to guide the work that you're doing at this time? And let's begin by asking, what element needs to guide your healing? And take a nice deep breath and just let your body move the way it wants to, and see if it guides you toward a specific element. I'm finding myself wanting to lean back. But fire is my primary element. So for healing, we usually find ourselves being drawn to the element that's most present for us, and certainly fire in my life, in my chart, in my in this room is an important element for me in my own healing and my own growth, my own experience. So notice where your body is wanting to lead you now. What element should guide your healing right now? I'm feeling sort of south and west, water and fire. And notice if they give you a vision or maybe a scent or a taste. Like I'm feeling salt water. I'm getting an image of the ocean, crashing waves. Are there any images that are coming up for you that seem significant or seem resonant for you right now? And then bring yourself back to center. Take a nice deep breath. And now let's ask, what element is most important to guide your learning and your wisdom right now? Which element primarily should you be working with for wisdom and for guidance as we begin this alchemical work together? And again, just closing your eyes and completely allowing your body to lead you. Don't overthink it. Just see where your body wants to move. Definitely feeling east and north. And sometimes you'll feel a pull across, like you'll find yourself moving sort of horizontally or diagonally between like a northwest, right? Or a southeast. And again, don't judge it, because that tells you probably have 2 elements, may even have 3 elements that are really important for your work right now, and that's good information for you to have. So I'm feeling myself being guided in terms of learning toward the east and slightly north. It's not like a complete north, and it's not even fully horizontally, but it's a very slight northeastern pull to earth and air. Getting grounded, stabilized, right? Engaging the intellect, which it's no surprise, right? If we're talking about learning, the element of air is usually one of the most important elements for learning and growth, intellectual growth. And just sit there, take a nice deep breath. If you really want to transform this into a really relaxing meditation, make sure that as you're breathing, you're stimulating and toning the vagus nerve, if you recall that from Soul Shift last year. And if you don't recall that, the vagus nerve is the largest nerve in your body, and it really governs all aspects of relaxation, surrender, meditation. And so to stimulate the vagus nerve when we breathe, we want the exhale to be twice as long as the inhale. Okay, so if you inhale for 2 seconds, you exhale for 4. If you inhale for 4 seconds, you exhale for 8. If you inhale for 8 seconds, you exhale for 16. So I like a 2-4. Inhale for 2, exhale for 4. Instantly doing that relaxes, tones, softens the vagus nerve, and it can get you out of a panic attack. It can help to really support you if you're experiencing adrenal fatigue. Deep stress responds well to vagus breathing like this. So again, exhale twice as long as the inhale. And back to center. And give yourself kind of one good turn around the wheel. It's just good to sort of really feel the essence of your core too. And now one more question, and you can continue this with other questions. You know, what element do I need to work with for prosperity? What element do I need to work with for alignment? What element do I need to work with for love, right? And then you can kind of see where your body is leading you, and your body becomes the pendulum, right? Your body becomes the divination tool. So let's ask one more question here. What element should guide us through our transformation this year? What will be our primary guiding element for our work in alchemy in 2021? And see where your body is going to lead you. Take a nice deep breath. Exhale twice as long as the inhale. Yeah, I'm feeling a pull westward. Water. Yeah. And I'm just getting messages about softening, allowing, surrendering, releasing, the importance of water, the importance of tears, the importance of purification, which is a lot of Western energy. Also the importance of nurturing. There's a lot of maternal energy in the West, which really speaks to me. And just see if any messages or insights come through about what that element wants to show you now, knowing that it'll probably be something of a guiding force for you all the way through the year, but what does it want to share with you right now as we begin our work? It's interesting. One of the messages that's coming to me is allow yourself to pour out, knowing that there's always more pouring in. You know, it's like just trusting that as you release and as you gift and as you offer and as you pour out of yourself energetically and in all ways, trusting that there's just more behind that to replenish you, to replace what might be perceived as lost this year. So just trusting, going with that flow. That feels good. And back to center. Feels good, doesn't it? I mean, in a way, it's kind of a nice stretch for your core too. Teaches you what it feels like to rest into that sushumna, into that central channel, and then how to tighten up if you need to, right? But most of us don't need to tighten up. Most of us need to learn how to soften, surrender, and kind of like release into that central channel. This becomes a place of trust, right? I'm held. There's a force greater than me. I don't have to have all the answers. I don't have to know everything. I don't have to fix everything today. I don't have to figure this out right now. Like all of these reassuring messages about surrendering and becoming soft. Now, my favorite part of this meditation, and I just designed this meditation, I don't know, last couple of weeks as I was getting ready for class. And then I did it myself. And my favorite part of it, for me, we'll see if you really enjoy it too, is bringing your attention back to the 4 spheres of energy. So you have that golden sphere in the east, that green or white sphere in the north, that blue or black sphere in the west, and then that orange-red sphere in the south. So bring your attention back to the 4 spheres of light, anchoring those elements around you. And then imagine each one of those spheres almost like a balloon popping. And as it does, dissolving back into that river, that Prima Materia. So the green sphere becomes the black water, and the golden sphere returns to black water, and the red sphere, black water, and the blue sphere, or black sphere for west, black water, and just let them pop and return. And feel how instantly you have that sense again of resting in that river, reclining in that river, being held, almost feeling like you could float in it, and feeling the warmth of that water, how it holds you and nestles you, and how it extends out around you in every direction to infinity. It's an endless river of creation. Really feeling that energy dissolving as we are this month, right? Going back to the roots, the origin, the source, to figure out who are we really at our core, and what are these elemental forces? How can they guide us through these first phases of our work together? Beautiful. Nicely done. And so that, my loves, is a little bit of a somatic experience of the Prima Materia, so that you have a sense of what it feels like to rest. And now what I'd like for you to do is continue this practice, right? When you feel like you're too much in the masculine, then we know we have to go to the feminine, right? When we're too much in the feminine, we have to go to the masculine. So starting to use the sides of your body to gauge. And then again, when you lean forward in the chakra system, you lean into emotion, reaction. It tightens you a little bit, but sometimes that can be helpful, because sometimes we need to focus, sometimes we need to be fully present, sometimes we need to be able to react quickly. But then if you're too much in that mode and you're having anxiety, all the way back, which gets you out of reaction, emotion, and gets you plugged back into that main power source. Think of leaning back as plugging into your soul's own battery. Right? Because that central channel that you're leaning back into houses all of your physical chakras, right? It's the rod of your caduceus, right? So it holds all the energy that ultimately is running through you at all times. But so much of us spend our time like this. We drive like this, we write like this, we cook like this, and we don't take enough time to really like sit back and embody those, literally physically embody those chakras. It's an important exercise for you. So this is what we call somatic exercise, somatic work. Soma means body. And you're going to see in Soul Shift this year a little bit more somatic work. I spent 2020 working with 2 teachers of my own who really focus on somatic work. And I'm going to be incorporating a lot of the work that I've done with them, and work that I've developed that's been inspired by them. This was inspired by some of that work. And so it's new for us this year. It was new for me this year, doing more of the somatic work. And I think you're going to find that that's going to help you not just to transform energetically this year, but also to be able to transform physically. Exercises like this can actually really help you overcome blockages in the chakras, which can lead to stronger physical strength and also physical comfort. So if you have pain, you might notice if you had pain before we started, if this eased it a little bit. And sometimes if you have, like I have sciatic stuff sometimes, it's like leaning back in and leaning to the opposite side feels really good. Do you ever have somatic or sciatic stuff? So mine is always usually the lower right. So if I lean back lower left, it's almost a counterbalance of that. So just learning to work with your body that way. You can incorporate crystals into this too, right? So holding crystals, or if you have a larger sphere, you can kind of like lean back and kind of roll into that. Don't necessarily need something that size. But you can start to incorporate your crystals. You can incorporate your wands. You can grid around yourself before you do this exercise, putting crystals and anchoring the elements with the crystals around you too. You can put your chumpies around you. You can put your platonic solids around you. Again, each one that represents the elements being placed in its appropriate direction as well. So those are just ways to take this to the next level. But as I showed you, this is also an exercise you can do completely without tools. You can do this sitting at a stoplight. You know what I mean? It's like just leaning in and feeling. Or if something happens, right, and it disturbs your energy field and you're like, oh, I'm so angry, then go to water, right? Like start leaning in, physically leaning in, as opposed to just visualizing water. This engages your body in the process of its own healing. And I promise you, it's a game changer. So enjoy being in the river of all creation. Thank you for being here for this Prima Materia guided meditation. And I'll look forward to seeing you in our next class. Have a beautiful rest of your day or evening. I'll see you soon.